in regards to the complexity of fighting games in general and Street Fighter 6. Because yesterday, I was playing with the character Juri. And I was playing with her, and it took me, no exaggeration, about 2 hours to finally understand a combo that someone was trying to explain to me. And this apparently is one of her more optimal combos that creates a ground bounce scenario. And after the opponent is ground bounced, now you can do like a follow-up, whether it's a super or another juggle or whatever it is. And I was just trying to figure out, like, you know, how do you do it? Why is it so annoying to figure this out? And the reason I'm thinking is because the game is just so complex at this point. And I think there needs to be a little bit of a debate between game complexity and simplicity versus actually mastering a game, you see? Because, at least from my perspective, as someone who has now played, you know, every major number Street Fighter in history, the older Street Fighters were very simple to jump into. So, very basic premise of what you know, was on the surface level of the game. You could play it for a little bit and learn the basics and kind of jump right in and enjoy. But to master, it could take years and years if you ever do. You know what I'm saying? Simple to jump into and learn, hard to master. As opposed to these days, with modern fighting games and the levels of complexity that are being stacked onto these modern fighting games, it becomes a matter of, you gotta, like, lab, you've gotta study, you've gotta fucking be, like, take a week off from school and work to sit there with a textbook and a bunch of videos and like, fucking graphs and protractors and shit, and you gotta have, like, fucking boards of information you're posting up and drawing connections and shit to even, like, understand the basics of a fighting game. And I could see both pros and cons of that, but I'm definitely seeing, the more I'm playing this game over this weekend, that there really hasn't been a character yet that's been like, here's a simple character, right? It's more like, so there are simple things to the character, but you'll never win with them. Here's all the nuances and complexities you need to master with this character. It's like, what? Jeez. But I just want to play the game for a few minutes. You know, I don't want to sit here and become a scholar of Street Fighter 6 in order to jump online and have a chance in a few online matches, while I jump online and literally everyone online is doing crazy labbed combos and shit. Like, what is this? You know? So, we're going to talk about that, okay? And we'll, a little bit of a discussion back and forth, I'm sure, on today's podcast. As for what we're doing today, outside of the podcast, it is my final streaming day of Street Fighter 6. The first stream today is going to be Guile, alright? The real American, as I like to call him, from back in the day. We're going to see how he plays in Street Fighter 6. I'm going to guess he's complex. Because like I said, sadly, there just has been no simple characters in this beta. Every character is just ridiculous complexities. And so I'll see what I can learn with him, you know, and figure out on today's first stream. The late stream tonight, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, is going to be a little different. Unlike the previous 5 streams, tonight I'm just going to jump in and play. I'm not going to learn a new character. I'm just going to kind of rotate between the characters that I've already messed around with over the course of this weekend as kind of like a last hurrah send-off for the beta. I know that I said originally I was going to learn a new character every stream, all 6 streams, but quite frankly, it's a lot of stress and a lot of time crunch when you're trying to learn a brand new character from scratch in only a couple of hours. It can be very, very annoying and stressful and frustrating, especially if you're trying to learn that character and you're playing against people who've been using the same character all weekend and they're just bodying you and you're like, dude, I'm not learning and I don't have enough time this weekend to waste. You know what I'm saying? If you only have 3 days to play the game before it's locked, right, until another beta coming up, you're trying to make maximum use of every moment you have. And the fact that you're trying to jump online is just, it gets very frustrating. It does. And I hear you guys out there who've said to me over the years, man, I just can't get into fighting games because there's a lot of learning curve to them. You're right. And I'm someone who's played, you know, fighting games since they first appeared in American arcades in the early 1990s. I have fundamentals of Street Fighter ingrained in my brain. That's a lot of the reasons why I'm winning matches online. It's not because I understand the nuances of the combat engine or anything like that, because I'm using fundamentals. But yeah, I hear you. You know, this has been a crazy stressful weekend for me, make no exaggeration. And the fact that, no lie, every effing day, it's been full sun, no clouds, this office heating up to almost 90-some degrees. When I'm trying to kind of turbo mode learn characters in a new fighting game, every single stream I played of this game, my head is like exploding of adrenaline. My whole body is running on 100. I'm sweating profusely in this hot-ass, stuffy office trying to play this game, you know? It'd be one thing if this was the dead of winter. It'd be perfect. But it just so happens they started this beta at a time when it's still hot outside with this full-on sun. So it's kind of like double stressful for me because it's a limited time, trying to catch up on a franchise that I ignored for the greater part of 7 years. Oh yeah, weather not agreeing with me. On top of everything, right? We couldn't even have one cloudy day during this beta. No, that's not possible. Full sun again, third day in a row. I do have a fan, and I do have my window open. I keep telling you guys, it's a little different where I live. I live in the Pacific Northwest, okay? The Pacific Northwest of the United States is not supposed to get heat. We do get it now, but when all the homes and things were built out here, there was no. Summers were cool, with maybe, no exaggeration, 1 to 2 weeks tops, where they would ever hit 80 to 90 degrees. It was always like 60, 70 degrees, cloud cover, and in the last 10 years, the climate on this planet has changed so much, we now get hot summers, and the summers are staying longer and longer, and no one's ready for it. No one has central air. The homes out here are built to retain heat. So, for example, this afternoon, the sun is beating on my office wall. It will do so from now all the way through like 5 p.m. And that entire time, this room will get hotter and hotter like an oven. It was designed like this to save money in the winter. When it's colder outside, you could heat your home without having to turn on the heat in the afternoons. It was designed that way, purposefully, you see? And it's great when it's winter. It's not great right now when we're just on the cusp of ending summer, starting autumn. And I took my air conditioner out of the window. My window's wide open. My fan is on maximum blast, oscillating back and forth in the room. It doesn't matter. It's still an oven. You know? It's just, it sucks. It's just, we're not built for this. And eventually, you know, I would hope I'm going to have to get central air. What else am I going to do? But just having the air conditioner in the window all year blasting is not healthy either, you know? I need to at some point have fresh air in here, so. Anyway.